Keke Palmer's getting flamed on the internet for a new show that she's released with her media company, KeTV. Now, KeTV claims to uplift Black voices and Black stories, but its new show, Southern Fried Rice, features an Asian girl who goes to a historically Black college. Now, many Black people are upset about this show for a multitude of reasons, so let's talk about it.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Guys, before we get into today's video, please like and subscribe. Yes, today we're talking about Keke Palmer and Southern Fried Rice. Yes, I know, a very creative name for a show where an Asian goes to an HBCU, Southern Fried Rice. Now, I'm going to get straight to the point here. I decided to watch at least the very first few episodes of this show to sort of get my footing on what's going on here, and I'll describe it to you. The show follows a young Asian girl by the name Coco who gets accepted to an HBCU. Now, of course, she's going to be an Asian in a predominantly Black university, and this causes a lot of conflict. She gets there, and while she does feel in place because she is adopted by a Black family and grew up in Black culture, she does experience a bit of conflict in some of the students there not really vibing with her presence, one of them being her roommate at the college. The show grapples with Black culture and the adoption of said culture by other races, and Coco in the show, I should also note, has a best friend who's a 17-year-old Black girl who happens to be pregnant, and she's grappling with the idea of having this baby or not having the baby and going to college. That's really about all you need to know for right now. We're gonna get into the criticism of this show because I hopped on TikTok and Instagram and I kept seeing video after video of people flaming Keke Palmer for putting this show out. So let's find out why. This first one says a show about Southern Asian American women titled Southern Fried Rice. Okay, so no commentary there, but let's read the comments. One person says the Black and Asian community staring at each other because neither of us asked for this. Another says both communities looking at Keke because what the hell? And this last one says the Black and Asian community in equal confusion. So the key bit of criticism here seems to be that this is a weird blend of Black and Asian culture and that it's been a totally unnecessary show to have been made, having an Asian who's also a minority head into a minority space like an HBCU. And they're not really understanding what the through point is, I guess, of a show like this. What are they trying to say? But let's move on and watch another TikTok.
Guys, please do not get mad at me. Please do not get mad at me. I'm just keeping it real, okay? Hear me out. Southern Fried Rice. They released a statement. They said, you guys are anti-intellectuals because you guys don't understand representation. You guys don't understand that representation is not just black and white. There's gray in between. And I'm not saying, okay, like, I'm not trying to be rude, but you guys, like, how many of you guys know of an Asian person who got adopted into a Black family and went to an HBCU? Raise your hand. Not me.
So an interesting point. Has this happened before? And does something have to have happened before for it to be fictionalized and presented in a TV show? What I find interesting is that the reaction to this show is kind of exemplifying some of the features of the show itself. In the show, as I said before, there is a character who is very much against this Asian girl being at the HBCU, is saying that she's not really Black, even though the Asian character is never truly claiming to be. She's just experienced Blackness by virtue of being adopted. And the response to this show is kind of similar to that. People are saying that this is a story that doesn't need to be told. It's a form of representation that is not needed. Others are saying, why pedestalize an Asian person and an Asian story when KeTV is supposed to be about Black stories? And I find it fascinating because Blackness is really the highlight of this story. We're seeing how Black culture responds to something different being placed within it. So it really is a Black story at the end of the day, even though we are focusing on an Asian character. Still, it is centered around Blackness. And I have my issues with that as a separate note to all of this, but nonetheless, you're getting a Black story. So make it make sense. We are dealing every damn day with a role being race swapped and a Black person now playing a historically white person or somebody of a different race. And we're dealing with that and talking about it, but you get one show about an Asian going to an HBCU and this is the reaction. Come on now. Now, here's a TikToker saying that she would have made the show a totally different story.
Should have been a Black girl studying abroad in Korea, navigating a culture that is not only fascinated by her, but still sees her as other. It would have dove in deeper into stories of identity, belonging, and respect, and not leaned into surface level stereotypes.
Baby girl, we don't have the budget for that. She's saying, take your low budget show where you filmed on like some random campus with some, let's be honest, not the highest level of actors. We just brought in some actors to do this show and probably paid them not the greatest wage. Just switch that over to Korea and have a Black girl navigate that entire situation. Not only do we not have the budget, but that is not the story that we were attempting to tell here. That is not the story that they wrote. You can't just come in and look at something that somebody's created and be like, you know what? What if we just flip the entire thing on its head because I'm uncomfortable with the story that you've told me? Huh? But let's listen.
Keke Palmer's new web series, Southern Fried Rice, is about an Asian girl who's raised.
That's funny. That's funny. Okay. But if you want to experience a Black person being dropped into Asian culture, go play that new Assassin's Creed game, I think.
And I have some questions. So this is me, the only Black girl in my class in Koreatown, LA. So I've lived that mixed identity of having Asian classmates, being bullied daily, and begging my mom to switch schools. Now, the Asian and Black community have a lot of similarities culturally, from the strict households, heavy expectations, and this responsibility and pressure to succeed at a very young age. But socially, it's different. Here in the U.S., Asians are often seen as the invisible minority, which may seem better than being targeted for your skin color. But after all, there's still colorism within the Asian communities. The darker your skin, the more you're targeted, and that's global. Now, I haven't seen the series yet, and I do plan to check it out, but when culture and identity are on the table, we deserve stories with depth, not just surface-level storytelling. And I don't know that Southern Fried Rice accounted for the nuances in this conversation.
It's so funny that she closed out the video by saying, I don't know, because she literally hasn't watched the series. So she's remarking on something that she hasn't watched, and this got 40,000 likes on it. Now, you can go and give your pitch for a totally different story about a totally different set of ideas and a totally different experience, but that is your idea, not the idea of the person who made this show. And there's so much talk of what Black people deserve, the idea of pedestalizing them, about putting them at the center of every single story. That can happen sometimes, but this time it didn't, even though I would argue that Black culture is very much at the center of this story, but I digress. I also came across an actress who's featured in this show, and she plays the character that gives pushback to this girl being at the HBCU. Although I don't know how her character develops, that's where she stands with me now. And she writes, life isn't real because what do you mean I'm driving in LA? I just moved, and the trailer of Keke Palmer's Southern Fried Rice series just dropped, and I am in it. Now the comments are all, your first controversy, girl, you actually made it. Others are saying, I'm def not gonna watch that minstrel mess, but baby, get your check. Another one writes, hey, whatever pays the bills, sis. So now you're looking at a Black creator, a Black actress, a Black creative, and you're dogging on her for being part of a project that is mostly Black. I mean, what more do you want her to do? Let me know when you have an answer, but let's move on. Here's another TikTok.
Keke Palmer thinks that just because she speaks like a 50-year-old Black auntie who has religious psychosis that she's smart and all-wise, but she's really dumb. The fact that she is up here trying to promote a TV show that she developed called Southern Fried Rice about an Asian woman raised by a Black family and her journey and coming-of-age journey going to an HBCU is so tone deaf and disrespectful to our culture. This is why we need to gatekeep our culture. That girl is slow and dense. It is so tone deaf, especially at a time like this when we are quite literally fighting for our lives to exist. For you to develop and create a show like that, are you crazy? We already don't have enough coming of age shit for us, and you do that bullshit? I'm sick of her.
And this is the most liked video out of all that I've shown you so far. This one has nearly 200,000 likes on it. And it's just a Black woman complaining about wanting to be the center of everything all the time. We need. People are trying to kill us. People don't want us to exist. What are you talking about? Who does not want Black people to exist? And there's no idea about gatekeeping culture that is even present in this show, because it's kind of impossible to gatekeep a culture when you've adopted an Asian baby into a Black family. It's not like somebody took this Asian kid and was like, I'm going to train you in Blackness and Black culture so that you can go to an HBCU. No, she grew up in a Black family because she was adopted by a Black family, and she decided she wanted to go to an HBCU. How powerful is that? That in growing up in the culture, she wants to be further surrounded by that culture in her college days rather than being separated from it. But that's not enough. That's not enough bowing to Black people, I guess, in this show. Never mind the fact that the vast majority of this cast, I mean 99.999% of the cast is Black. It's it's not enough for you guys because we have one little Asian girl bobbing around who's being black. Like, she's literally exemplifying black culture in everything that she does throughout this show. And she's also like made hyper aware of her place constantly. And if she wasn't made aware of it, she's defending her own place. She literally says at one point in this show that she is not black. She will never be black, but she grew up in a black family and that's how she experienced blackness. What more do you want? I must ask again. And of course, in all this controversy, Keke Palmer must respond. And she basically told all of you to sit down. So let's watch the video.
Hey, you guys, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I wanted to chop it up real quick about this series called Southern Fried Rice that's premiering on Key TV that is receiving some controversial feedback. Now, Southern Fried Rice was created by Nakia Stevens. And while I can't speak to her inspiration for the show, I can speak to her dedication as a creative. I mean, Nakia has written, show ran, and produced 4 shows alongside her Damn Right Originals team with Key TV. And Key TV has proudly invested over $500,000 on her creations. And I say that because it's not easy to obtain that kind of investment. And Key TV, this is the ethos of the company. It's a network not just because it has stars and shows or has talent, but because it's about the people who create the shows and connecting them. I mean, we have Alex King, a black queer creator that made the short film Keep Me in Mind. We have Antoine Lachey, who created the horror story Blue Forest. We have Cousin M by a father and son duo, Rosero and Eric McCoy. Chelsea Sanders, who created Make It Make Sense and Unlabeled by Lawrence Murray. Chelsea also did Dear Kiki. Look, what you like is subjective, but the support of black creatives is not. And it's a task that Key TV takes on with pride because if you want to be a creative, you have to be able to create. And that takes money. And it's Key TV's mission to find the funds for you to be in practice, for you to experience trial and error, and to take your projects off the page and get more than one chance to do it in action. So whether you like it all or some or none, I say give these creatives a chance to grow as we continue to grow in supporting them. So God bless you guys. And like I said, Nakia has Southern Fried Rice that's coming out most recently, but she has Nepotista.
Okay, we don't need to hear the rest of that. She said, you know, essentially, I know a lot of people are going to be watching this because this is my response to a controversy. Let me plug every single other project that we have going on and please sit down because I'm elevating black creators. And you know what? That's her mission. That's what she's doing. I don't agree with it. I don't think you should elevate people based on race. I think she should focus on stories and go after them in that way and focus on small creators and small creations. But nonetheless, that seems to be her project. And while Keke Palmer is booked and busy and keeping other black people booked and busy, you guys are angry and mad. And you're sitting here making TikTok videos and commenting on Southern Fried Rice, which essentially is making more people watch the show. And I think they're going to come to find when they watch the show that it's not the most egregious thing that they've ever seen, despite the fact that people are treating it like it is some sort of egregious act to make a story like this. It's ridiculous. Okay. Lastly, I'll say, you know, just because she's elevating black voices does not mean she needs to do it in the exact way that every single one of you thinks she should. She can do that however she likes, and she's chosen to do that with Southern Fried Rice. And mind you, she's not even the creator of that show. She's just elevating the person and funding the person who did create that show. If you don't like it, that's okay. Don't watch it. But this idea that everything needs to be black, 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 black power, black is beautiful, black must be at the center of everything is incorrect. And the response to the show itself is pointing out an issue that is ever present within black culture and within this sort of like leftist activist black community that needs to be spoken about. Nobody's the victim here, and it's certainly not black people that are the victim here. Let's calm down. Guys, those are my thoughts on Keke Palmer's Southern Fried Rice with Key TV. Let me know how you feel about it in the comments down below. As always, if you disagree with anything I said in this video, duke it out, but do so respectfully. I encourage healthy debate on this channel. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video for you guys, which is every day. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.